Hello? Hello, Exiles? Testing. Taking out chat. Hello, everybody. Ah, yes. Hello, everyone. And welcome to the exciting preview of Chapter 3. My name is Andy Bendit, Community Manager with Conan Exiles. I'm joined here by
Dennis Douthit, the lead designer for Conan Exiles.
And we're also joined in the back with Nicole. Hi. So yeah, thank you for tuning in for today's exciting stream. We're going to be going over what's coming up next in the Age of Sorcery. Sorry, I'm a little getting my nerves out. I haven't done this in a little while, so I'm still trying to get this out. But yeah, we have an exciting thing for you today. We're going to be showing off tons of new features, taking your questions, and going on a journey together.
Yeah, we're even going to be not showing some stuff.
Indeed.
So like, there are things that'll be in this update that you won't even get to see until you get there firsthand. Probably one of the coolest parts.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. So to recap, the first two chapters of Age of Sorcery have chronicled the adventures of you, the exile, as you delve into the secrets of this mysterious form of wild sorcery that's appeared throughout the exiled lands, and forged sort of this like uneasy, weird alliance with the sorcerer Mek-Kamoses to work towards the source of this strange form of sorcery and go from there. And then in chapter 3, you'll see a little culmination of all that. But before we get to that, what would you like to show first, do you think?
Well, I suppose we should do the update that no one's expecting and talk about the journey system update.
Journey system update.
Journey system update.
Journey system update.
It is about time indeed. So, let's see. Let me make sure. The what? The what? The what?
Yes.
Yeah.
The journey system update is pretty huge. We didn't show our hand on it at all, so I know that a lot of people are going to be surprised by this one. But we know there's like a wealth of content in Exiles. There's so much stuff to do and see, and it's really hard to figure out what you should do. And one of the things that we do when we're designing Exiles is try not to force players to do things or tell them things they don't already know. But with the journey system update, we're going to give you guys ways to essentially teach yourself to play and find the things that are in the game. So I guess without further ado, let's go to the journey system.
Yes, indeed. We're going to swap over here. Whoop.
All right, so I've created a new character on Sipta. Obviously, the journey system will be updated for each map. And if you look up in the top right corner of the screen, you'll see that there's a new UI for the journey system. It's a fancier version of what we had there before. It has a goal for you to do and some instructions as well. And also, just before we get into everything, there's going to be, the standard disclaimer. This is an internal development build. While we are still close to release, there are some things that always get fixed up in the last couple weeks of development. So you might see some things that are a little different or a little off, but generally it'll be about the same. So right here in the beginning, the first thing it'll tell you to do is take your first steps. So we'll learn how to move by pressing the keys. And you'll see that there's an update, same as the old journey system. And another thing you'll see is that you can open the menu to see what those steps are, as shown by the J up in the corner. When you're on a gamepad or playing on a console, you'll have different shortcuts shown for what you can do. And it'll bring up this new window. And the way that we approached the journeys is essentially the way we approach knowledge as well, where everything that you want to learn is meant to be dressed as a sort of profession. It's a thing that you can learn the aptitude for in the world. And it's the same for the journeys. So you can see we have journeys like warrior, archer, tanner. And if you go down deeper and deeper, you get into things like sorcerer, raider, dismantling, using a dismantling bench. It touches a lot of the game. And we took what was there and we tried to use as much as we could, but we had to wind up making a lot of new things to make the journey actually possible. So I'll dig a little deeper into this UI as well. Everyone always starts out with this first one, and on the Exiled Lands, it's like Exiled Land Survivor. On the island, it's Island Survivor. And you can see there's a lot of information here as well. Some little text about what you'll be learning in that journey, what kind of reward you'll get for finishing it. And then we've got the actual list of steps, and each of those steps have details as well. So, we hope that we've worded these in such a way that you learn why you're doing what you're doing and help learn other things that you maybe can experiment with based on what you've learned before. The initial journeys are extremely detailed, and they will tell you like what buttons to press to do things. And as you get further and further into the game, they hold your hand less because we expect you've learned some things early on. Another thing you'll see is on this first one, we didn't want veteran players to have to commit to doing the tutorial every time. And the first journey is really a tutorial. So if you're a veteran player, you can come down and actually hit the button to skip the first one.
Where the camera's overlapping the button to skip it, but underneath Dennis and I, there's a button that, hold on, let me see if I can.
Yeah, there's literally a button to skip the journey. So it's only available on the first one. And I'll go through a couple steps and then come back to this menu first, but you'll see it's really similar to what you would experience in normal gameplay. And we just want to teach you how to do things like how to pick up things and search bodies and chests and containers. So this one's asking you to look for some things and interact with them, and then it'll advance just like you would expect the journey to advance. All the journeys are all now completed in linear order as well. So you won't have some steps solving before other steps, and you might not accidentally solve a step. You'll very specifically have to come into the menu and say, I would like to do this journey. I would like to learn to do this thing. So you won't be doing the island survivor journey and then get stuff way down in like farmer or sorcerer solving because, you've picked up some resources. So yeah, just seeing that, you get some stuff in your inventory that'll help you along some of the journeys. Like if I need to eat and drink, there's always more information there. And that'll teach you how to survive in the game and the base systems that you need to literally learn survival, eating, drinking, primarily making a spawn point, crafting from your inventory. But if you've done that a million times and you want to skip it, you click the button. It'll ask you if you're sure you want to skip it. You won't get the reward if you skip it, so you can't use it to just farm the caches. And then some more stuff will unlock. And if you complete journeys naturally, you'll get these notifications as well, where new journeys or one journey has completed and a new one unlocks. There are also prerequisites to journeys. So the warrior one requires that we unlock the knowledge. Part of the first tutorial is learning how to unlock knowledge, so you should know how to do that. And that's a good example of how we teach you something and expect you to carry that knowledge over into later journeys. So then there's one for building shelter. When you finish that one, it'll allow you to go on to a later level of building as well. A better example, I guess, is Mason. We also have these journeys tiered out. So you get the Mason one, and then once you complete Mason, it'll have some new prerequisites, but another thing it'll do is unlock Mason 2. And then you can learn to build tier 2 buildings and so on for tier 3. And those are hidden, so you can't see them here right now. There's more journeys than you can actually see. Because we are able to just hide ones that you don't meet the bog standard requirements for.
There's a quick question.
Yeah.
Will the journey system be moddable at all?
I have to see how much effort we put into making it moddable. For those of you who know Rob, he is the person that worked on this most, and he is a big mod supporter and modder himself as well. So I believe there will be mod capability here, but I can't give the absolute definite answer right now.
I also saw a question in chat asking, will there be different journeys for the two maps, and the the tutorial journey will be different between SIPTA and the Exiled Lands. So the SIPTA one, of course, will say Island Survivor as you've seen, and if you when you're creating a new character in the Exiled Lands, you'll have an Exiled Land specific initial introductory journey bit as well. That's a little bit different from the current version. Yeah, on live right now.
There are these ones as well.
Oh, there's my bad. Yeah,
we can't ask you to discover a lot of different points in a map that you're not on. So where it's appropriate, we make ones that are specific for a specific map.
Yeah, but generally speaking, yeah, all these various paths that you can take, whichever whatever goals that you want to set for yourself, is shared between the two maps with only just some exceptions. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah, it's similar to the old journey system as well, where we had some that were just on SIPTA. Or it was really just one, but
yeah. And I saw someone ask on YouTube also, like, no, you will not need to buy Sipta to like have access to this either. This is you're just seeing Island Survivor because we just started on Isle of Sipta. Because my save game on the Exile lands has other stuff that we wanted to show.
Yeah, it does.
And we didn't want to re-roll a character on Exile land. So.
I don't know if you'd like to take any other, if you have any questions yourself about the system, or if you want to answer anything else from chat, or if we should.
Yeah, I'm just looking over chat right now. Yeah, like, so like, you know, this is something that we've wanted to do for a really long time. And, you know, in addition to offering some additional assistance for like new players to like kind of get situated into the game. You know, we wanted to also add various other things for more seasoned players to still kind of, again, like setting your own goals and like figuring out like which things you want to like prioritize on or like do things for. And because we offer rewards now for completing the various journey steps, we feel confident that like even the most like grizzled of Exiled Lands veterans will get something out of this new system.
There's 2 questions real quick that I asked. If that's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
For the rewards, is it one time only or every time you make a new save? Do we know about that?
It's per character.
Just in case people couldn't hear in the back there, so it's, will the rewards from the journey system be per character or like once per account? You said it's per character, right?
Yeah, each time you create a character, you have the opportunity to get them. And I can kind of skim through and you can see, you know, there are some interesting rewards on here. We did, you know, some kind of asset variations, like some reskins like you would typically expect from the shop, right? There's no kind of real power or anything in the rewards that you get, but they're things that might look cool or help you a little bit along the way.
Yeah, and it's still like a unique reward that you get out of the journey system. And like, you know, we wanted to also make the rewards meaningful. So like some of, you know, and some of the ones you'll see like, oh, you get a supply material or like some exotic meat, but then like you see, you know, you saw like later down there, like you get epic items, for example. So
People are begging you to drink something.
oh, the character's dying of thirst.
Also, people are wondering if things complete, like if you're a level 60, do you have to do those things over again? Or
So the question is if you're already max level,
not even just max level, but just like if you've done some of the journey steps
so
already.
okay. So are the various journey steps like retroactive, or
Yes.
do you once it goes live, do you have to complete everything from the start?
Any journey progress you have in the game right now is just going to be gone whenever the update comes out, and you'll start fresh with the whole new system. And that's for a couple reasons. And one of the biggest ones is just so you don't miss anything. Like we don't rob you of any rewards or experiences or learning that you might not already have. You know, the context of the old journey system is much different than the new journey system. So in many cases, we wouldn't even really be able to map progress one-to-one from one to the other. But another cool thing about this system is some things will be retroactively awarded. So there are some steps in the journey system that you may complete. I can give a really easy example. In the Exiled Lands, we ask you to leave the starting desert at a certain point. Now, if you leave the starting desert before you get to that point in the journey and you go about doing the other steps, that goal to leave the journey will solve retroactively. So there are some things in the journey we can detect you've done and just not ask you to do them because we know you already know how to do it. It's in pretty specific cases. For the most part, you're going to be asked to follow the steps.
Excellent. So I'm just looking over some chat stuff right now. A lot of folks are saying, yeah, this looks really cool. Glad that there's something for even like veteran players to get. Other people just saying hello. Let's see. Is the Mummy of the Ring still in the journey steps?
I don't think you'll see that at all. We chose not to include kind of narrative-oriented stuff to start with. Another cool thing about the system is that we made it to be really expandable. So whenever we do new chapters, new updates, things that'll stick around in the game will probably also get a journey that comes along with them. Yeah, Mummy of the Ring.
Rip.
It's not content we'll have implemented, and you'll see as we talk more about this chapter, but that is still a sort of dangling thread for us. Will admins be able to spawn in the special items from it? Yeah, they'll be in the admin panel just like anything else. So if there's a reward in there you don't want to have to do the journey, you can just spawn it as an admin. And you guys will learn, you know, what kind of rewards come from what journeys.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of stuff in here, though. I mean, there's even like armor sets, and you know, there's armor sets, weapons, different consumables. If the game has it, the journey system pretty much has it as well.
Now, are these recipes or is it actual just like gear?
I'd have to double check, knowing that Rob worked on it. There's probably a recipe that goes along. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
But it would be, if there's not recipes already, we'll get them in eventually.
Cool.
Right now we're a bit past the translation deadline to add any additional items. So.
Oh, right. Yeah. Because this is like
on the doorstep. Yeah,
yep.
It's going to be soon.
When you claim it'll go into your inventory, or?
Yeah. Right into your inventory.
Yeah, it'll just go straight to your inventory. Cool. Okay. And then yeah, like we'll open some time up towards the end of the stream also to recap a couple things. Or if you have any other questions about anything we covered here, we'll answer what we can. So yes, very good, very good. So apart from the joiny system, and then this is of course just like a blanket update that's available, that's coming up with the next update. That's available for everyone. You don't have to like do anything or get anything special.
Yeah,
it's just for everyone.
Yeah, whenever we get into the stuff that is like Battle Pass and Bazaar oriented, we'll probably give a disclaimer.
Sure, right. But the journey system's for everyone.
Yep, journey system goes out for everyone.
Yeah, for free. It's just whatever. It's just part of the base game now. Kind of on that note, of course, with Chapter 3, we'll come with new story steps, new Battle Pass items, new Bazaar items, of course. We can show some of those lovely things off. But first, let's talk about more gameplay things that are being added with the update. So, Chapter 3 is focused around the kind of like the culmination of Mek-Kamoses' work, working to like sniff out the secrets and delve into just like what's going on with this, just what's going on in the exiled lands, where the sorcery is coming from, where the source of its power is coming from. And I think we will have some of those answers with this update. We're not going to show everything off today, obviously, too. You'll just have to see for yourself.
We're going to certainly show some stuff.
We're going to show some stuff off for sure. So first, do you want to show off? Do you want to take a look over, visit our good friend Mek-Kamoses and see his new revamped crib?
Absolutely. Yeah. Would you like to hide while I switch maps?
I would love to. My stain gone? Okay, good. I'm thirsty. I'm sorry. Hey, listen. Okay, I will say, I just got. I finally have been. I've been shown the light of spinner rings, like fidget rings, because some of you who know me or may have seen me on camera know that I have a tendency to like pick at my mustache or play with it when I'm like deep in thought, So I got one of these things, and now I can kind of I can play with my fingers and stim without having to play with my mustache and mess my face up. Right. So what we're doing right now, we're loading up into the exiled lands and heading over to Mek-Kamoses Spire, which has received some enhancements, some changes to its appearance. Oh, nice. I'm gonna switch back over here. All
right.
And welcome.
Welcome to the Spire. So there's going to be some stuff coming in this update that will change the way some things are presented. One of the first things you'll see is there's this really big beam in the sky. We have removed some other beams from the game that you might see as, decorative skylights of sorts, to make it so that when we have events like this, it really stands out that there's something happening that draws your attention.
It's like, hey, come over here. There's something interesting here.
Yeah, exactly. So you can see this from really far back, even in the starting desert. You'll see it on the horizon. And it's kind of ushering you forward to find how and where the story is unfolding. So for anyone who hasn't seen Mek-Kamoses Spire before, usually looks much different than this. You can see there's a lot of defenses. A lot of the Catan Exiles are here. One of the first things you might notice is that this guy's dressed up. So we wanted to have these guys in uniform from the beginning. We had a technical hurdle that prevented us from putting Battle Pass and Bazaar items on NPCs, essentially. So we're over that now. And if we continue up to the top of the spire, You'll find our new buddy, Mek-Kamoses, is decked
Got some
out.
new digs.
And he's also found a new friend that he has tied up to his lovely altar, which is what the giant beam is coming from. So you guys will also be able to explore some new dialogue with Mek-Kamoses. I don't think there's any reason we really need to pop into his dialogue right now. We can just save it as a surprise. But Mek-Kamoses will pretty much tell you that there's these fancy new rocks that you can go find, and if you bring them back to him, similar to headhunting in chapter 2, you'll get a nice reward for doing that. He'll also ask for something else, and before I tell you what that is, we'll go back to the red stones themselves. So the red stones are called blood crystals, and blood crystals are essentially a hardened, it is the blood of the giant kings that soaked into the ground, hardened, and resurfaced. The giant kings are extremely powerful sorcerers, and their blood has essentially returned to the surface and animates things that it touches. So now that might give some more context to understand why there is a golem system coming, which some of you may have seen represented in my armor or in some of the updates we put out this morning. But you'll be able to go out, harvest the blood crystals, and we'll talk a bit about that as well. Bring them back to Mek-Kamoses with his sick mask, and get those rewards and participate in another little activity. So, blood crystals, how do I get them?
How do you get blood crystals? How do you harvest the blood of the giant kings from the earth?
Yeah, that's right. So you'll be able to find the resource like you would with other resources using the spell to detect resources. They'll be represented as as sort of red underneath the ground. You'll see red resources. I'm not going to go hunt them out now for sake of time because it is random whether or not you'll find them. But I will show you some stuff. There are two versions of finding and harvesting these, and I'm actually going to need a pick as well.
Oh, my bad.
That's okay. I'll use a pickaxe, that's fine. So as I mentioned, the blood crystal brings things to life. So whenever you use detect resources to find the blood crystal, you're not just finding the resource embedded in the ground, you're also finding
whatever it's attached to,
right?
Whatever it's grown into. Yeah.
So we'll go here, spawn some stuff. And the first version is a lovely friend you guys will surely recognize in the rock nose. You can see the blood red crystals. I'll get out of the shadows as well. The blood red crystals on him. And after you kill him, you can harvest his corpse to get the blood crystals.
Oh no, encumbered.
Encumbered again.
All this golem equipment is very heavy.
Yeah. We got some heavy stuff.
We got a lot of stuff lugging around.
So the rock nose was the second one we made, and the first one we made, we wanted it to be a bigger challenge, and we realized we had to offer that earlier in the game. So the rock nose was a bit of a fallback. Actually, sorry, that's the wrong one. I want this one.
Oh, really quick. Also, is it possible to tame the blood rock noses and make them your pets?
I don't think we put a recipe on for that.
Okay.
No. So what you'll normally be finding in higher level areas is a straight up animated earth golem, and you can see the blood crystal in his heart, or like heart in his chest there. And it's the same deal as the rock nose. Whenever you kill him, you get to harvest his resources and bring it back for a reward, or keep it for yourself. So
you can't have this specific enemy as a pet, but someone did ask. Yeah, Nivorbian asks, can you keep a golem as a pet? Not that one, but
wait,
there's more.
Yeah, so I'll come up here to back up to Mek-Kamoses Spire. So, he wants the blood crystal because he's trying to perform a certain ritual. He's got his princess tied up here. One of the really fun things we did with her is she's also voice acted, so you'll hear her randomly screaming obscenities at Mek-Kamoses, you know, cursing him. And
Yeah, she's pretty mad about being.
not happy to be tied up.
Nope.
See, if you read that subtitle there, you know, you can see about how happy she is. And there's another person at Mek-Kamoses' camp, and he has a little bit more information about the golems themselves. So this is another Catan exile who has started using that blood crystal that's used to make his altar. And, you know, he is essentially obsessed with the art of carving golems and using that blood crystal to make something, you know, really amazing. Mm-hmm. He will also be able to teach you how to make your own golems. So there's different power levels of golems, and we'll get into that further. And the player will be capable of making pretty crude ones. And when you go out on an adventure into the world, doing things like dungeons and killing bosses, you'll start to find higher level parts that you can't craft, but you can use in the crafting process. So this guy also has a whole set of voice acting to go along with him. And, you know, he'll tell you more about his place in the world and what he's interested in. And then just before we leave Mek-Kamoses' camp, I'll give another hint of what's happening. Part of what you'll find in his dialogue tells you that he wants to perform a ritual, and there's another ritual happening at the same time. Mek-Kamoses wants you to go to the site of the other ritual, which he's found a way to get to with a transportory stone, and stop the ritual from happening. So those of you following along with the story might have an idea of who's performing the ritual. You might be familiar with the location you're taken to if you've, again, been following along with the story. It is a new area. There is new content and an encounter to discover there. I think everyone's going to be really surprised and excited to see it.
It's really cool.
And it's a pretty big deal. And we've decided that we don't want to spoil it, so we're not going to show it now. I'm not even going to say anything more about it. Once you guys get on like, if you get on the public beta server or you just wait for it to release, everything will become a lot more clear. I'm super excited about it. But here you can see we're able to put the blood crystal in this portal to fire up you know, a portal that lets you go
somewhere, yeah,
that location and check out something awesome. There will be a thing there for you to bring back to Mek-Kamoses as well that'll get you some more rewards again. Similar to the bounty hunting event, how we had, like, you know, you could knock out, you could kill guys and get their skull and get a little reward, or you could knock them out and bring them back and get a bigger reward. We've got a similar scheme going on here where you can go out, find the crystals, bring them back for a small one, or you can go get this other thing, bring it back for a huge one.
Mm-hmm. There'll be new vendors here. There'll be new vendors here, I believe, at the camp too, right? Like, kind of similar to what we had with the headhunting event from last chapter.
Yeah, I think they're set up down here already.
But these folks take ancient oboli too, right?
Excuse me. Yeah, that's right. So it'll be the same thing. It's actually, I believe it's even using the same tables. So the guys that you could get last time will be the guys that, you know, you could get this time if you're getting thralls through that method. And the things that you can purchase are mixed up a little bit. But yeah, it's, you know, just more incentive to, you know, keep doing the activities.
Hunt them sorcerers.
Yeah, have some fun collecting stuff and bringing it back. That's kind of the name of the game, is having fun collecting stuff, I think.
So will the headhunting event and, like, the activity itself persist even after, like, you know, once chapter 3 concludes? Like, what does that spell for, like, the Catan folks and the headhunters and all that?
Headhunting and even this event right now are technically temporary, but we're going to be bringing them back later as part of the normal encounter rotation that occurs. It just won't be on as large of a scale.
Gotcha.
So you might see one of them. Headhunting might not be a great example. I think that we might not see the headhunting caravans come back because they're kind of persistent. We'll have to see exactly how we decide to handle that. We might move it into a smaller area, but for the time being, the headhunting caravans will be gone. That activity will be gone, and it'll be replaced with this one. We always want to kind of have something new and fresh for you to do, but I also don't want to get rid of things that people like to do. So in some capacity, we may see it return as a temporary event, or it may come back as just a random encounter. I think more likely what you'll see is we'll turn it on for a week or two at a time, and we'll just pick and choose to mix things up to keep everything fresh for people.
Are you allowed to say where you currently are on the map, or you want to leave that?
Oh yeah, I'm at Mek-Kamoses Spire. You guys might recognize it from the past, where it was previously just this statue, this like Acheronian tower with a slab, and Mek-Kamoses was standing in front of it. So there used to be a slab right here where these guys are standing, and there was Mek-Kamoses standing right here, and he would teach you the set religion and a couple emotes. And now Mek-Kamoses, he's moved a little bit, but he's right nearby still.
Will he still teach you the ways of set?
Yeah, he still has all of that stuff. He just has his dialogue changed from what it used to be. What about the other interesting thing on the horizon?
Which other interesting thing? The thing that's literally on the horizon? That we're looking at right now?
I use my words really specifically.
I don't. My no thoughts, head empty, Sangha and Banga.
As part of this event and as part of the storytelling that's happening, sorry, move that chat. For a short time, while this event's active, for the 3-month period or so, there will no longer be nighttime in the exiled lands. Instead, it will be replaced with what you're seeing on screen right now. This is a key component in the ritual itself, and it's kind of a celestial alignment where the moon eclipses the sun, and during that time, instead of having full-on pitch black, you'll have this kind of red tinged eclipse that hovers overhead and then goes away. And when you're taken to a new place through the transportory stone to experience a new part of gameplay, that will be a part of that as well. So night times will be a little bit brighter. You won't have the full-on dark for this duration, but you will have this really cool eclipse in the sky.
What an ominous portent.
Indeed. And here's a view of the horizon a bit more so you can see it's not quite as dark as it was before. We've got some awesome red clouds that fade into a cooler blue near the ground. All right. Well, now I can take off to Golem City, as I have dubbed it. Andy set up some stuff for us to look at. And we can talk more about golems.
Golem time, golem time, golem time.
And more. So everything we have set up here, there's a bit of DLC stuff in here. Let me change the time of day so you guys can actually see as well.
Oh, I don't know. Is the new area located? So I guess this is for more of a modding specific question, but is the new area that we're sending folks, like, do you know geographically where it is, like on the map, even if it's like in an inaccessible area, like if it's in like the northeast area?
It's in it.
Because it's its own place.
I don't know where its specific location is. It is currently dynamically loaded for the encounter itself. It uses the encounter system. It's just on always. That's about all I can say without really giving any more kind of spoilers. So
I guess a better question would be to ask.
It exists in a place in the world.
Do you foresee its existence perhaps interfering with like modders' ability to like edit maps and stuff like that? I mean, obviously, they'll have to like be wary of it or like mindful of it, but like
if you have events, the Boolean for events like the encounter toggle disabled on the server, it shouldn't be even loaded. Okay. So if you're playing on like Age of Calamitous server or something and you don't have the Funcom events enabled, it shouldn't interfere at all. That's part of it, being dynamically loaded. If you are running, something more base game or base game friendly that has the Funcom events turned on, depending on what you've made, it may or may not be in your way. You'll just have to see when the time comes around.
Yeah. Thanks for the question, Amag88. I hope that helps answer the question. But yeah,
yeah. Sorry, we can't be more specific.
Yeah.
I just don't want to ruin it for people.
What's up? Quick question. People are asking like, what have we shown so far will be available on both maps or just Exiled Lands or like?
Oh yeah. So I mean, obviously, Mek-Kamoses doesn't exist on the Isle of Sipta. So the journey system that we showed what we're about to show with golems will be available on SIPTA, but the narrative-oriented things that are like Mek-Kamoses Spire, the new bit of content that you'll run into, those are only going to be on exiled lands, and everything else will be everywhere. So golem parts, crafting and discovering golems, all of the building stations and everything that we show, that'll be on both maps, just the narrative is separate. Okay, ready to go into golems themselves?
Yeah.
This is a really big topic. Golems are a new follower type. We haven't released a trailer yet, so you guys aren't sure what they do. So I guess this is my opportunity to let it loose. Do we have any golems? Actually, yeah, these are on stands. Okay.
Yeah, that's on a stand, and these three are active and can be commanded, and that's just on display.
Yeah, so I guess I'll start in the inventory because we have a couple parts in there. Golems are going to be a follower that you can craft, and they have 2 arms, 2 legs, a torso, and a head. And you can make different pieces to create a different follower at the end of the day. Each of those different pieces also have different attributes that you'll see the side effects of whenever you go into the actual golem crafting station. So this is a bench that you'll make the parts on, and you can see the recipes for the things that you can actually create. And once you create those pieces, you can bring them over to the assembly station, and it'll, kind of splat them down here, put the pieces in context so you can see them in the world. And once you put all the pieces on, you'll have access to a ritual that lets you actually animate that guardian. So here you can see I've put a chest on the ritual station, so it tells me how much health it will have, what kind of armor, and how much inventory space it will have. And inventory space is going to be pretty important for golems because the guardian golem can harvest resources for you while you're in the world.
There was a specific question. Someone on YouTube asked specifically that, like, "Oh, you're gonna let your golems harvest some resources? You ever think about that?" We did, in fact, think about that.
Yeah. So on this golem, you can see the parts he's made of, what attributes he gets for having those, and what he can do. This one has an axe in his hands, so he can harvest lumber. Different tools that you put in their hands will have different harvesting capabilities. And for this guy, if he's following me and I have like a stick or a piece of wood in my inventory, he'll harvest trees or, gather sticks, whatever relevant pieces you can actually put in. And it'll tell you, like if I try to put a rock in this one, sorry, I think I have to move it here first, but it'll tell me that maybe he's not, because he's not
rock and stone.
Yeah, so it'll tell me when I can't harvest something. And if I can move it there, it'll go into that inventory, and then they'll just go to passively pick up those kind of resources. So because he's looking for sticks, he knows that he can find sticks in trees. And as he harvests, his inventory will start to fill up with the things he's harvesting. So there will be more detail and more context on exactly what kind of stuff you can and can't harvest. I know that one thing people will just ask automatically is, can they harvest star metal? The meteorite has to be cracked before they'll harvest it, but they will harvest it once it's actually been opened. Otherwise, we've got a whole swath of classified materials that you can put in there and have them follow you around, fight, and harvest stuff in the in-between. We've got some more golem stuff on the back burner as well that I'm not sure exactly when we'll get to it, but there is probably more than this coming with golems in the future, and there's even more to talk about with it now as well.
Cool.
So this guy right here is what we call a tier 1 golem. So he's like the lowest level of golem that you can make. He's made out of stone. You can see he has the cool heart embedded in his chest. That's the bloodstone that you would have harvested.
He's thirsty for trees.
Yeah, he wants some sticks, boy. So you can see he pick the stick up.
Oh my god, I love it.
Yep.
Are golems permanent, or are they also just for chapter?
The golems will be here forever. They're here to stay.
Yeah, that's it'll be a base feature with the game.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You'll always be a way to find them, find how to create them, and do the activities required to allow them to harvest.
The golems are not dateable as a game mechanic. However,
on.
Fanfics are welcome.
I know, yeah, that's up to you to do if you want to. If you want to role play as your golems, that's on you. We're not gonna yuck your yum.
I'm gonna get this guy to stop following me, and check out some other golems as well. So this is what we would call a tier 2 golem. He's made out of iron, and you can see he's got a ton of health. And that kind of brings me to one of the next things about golems is they cannot be healed like other followers. Once you make them, they're made out of a destructible material that will erode and decay over time. They won't really passively decay, but when you take them into combat and they take damage, that damage is forever. There's no way to heal them, no way to bring them back. They don't level like a normal follower, so their power is kind of static. They're just going to be what you see is what you get on that menu. But they've got another mechanic baked in that's kind of cool. So he does have a lot of health, and you'll see various armor values depending on what you put on. But they also have a passive deflection mechanic. That's like we borrowed from when a player gets a rebound off of a shield. So if you hit a golem, there's a chance that the shield, they'll do a shield rebound. That target will get kicked back, and then the golem will have like a window of opportunity to exploit that as well. So their defense isn't just their health and their armor. They also have that deflection. And the types of parts you use, and additionally, there will be another thing I'll talk about that'll improve that further, but there are ways to make them deflect more as well.
Mm-hmm. A couple questions came up in chat. Do golems have to be on follow mode in order to autonomously harvest, or can you just like set them and just like let them go on their own?
At the moment, they do have to be on follow. One of the things that we didn't get to finish, but is almost done, is a way for them to harvest autonomously, where you can kind of leave them in a place and let them just do their own thing. But that hasn't been fully QA tested. We don't have a timeline for when that will be released, but I know that in the long run, it's a thing we want to do. Because eventually you will likely see some or all of this behavior coming to normal thralls too. I know that's another thing people will want to see is if golems can do it, why can't people? And for the time being, we want it to be a thing that sets golems apart and keeps them special. But in the long run, it is absolutely plausible that this winds up on regular
Something
humans
we would
as
like
well.
to do, yeah. And then the other question that I saw, oh God, I'm blanking now. One sec, sorry.
I have one in the meantime. Oh, you go. I go.
Will these count towards your like thrall or follower count?
Yeah, they're normal followers, so they will count.
And so they get boosted by like the authority attribute as well?
They will get boosted by authority, but like I said before, they can't be healed. I believe, if I remember right, the things that would heal them otherwise boost their deflection. So they have a higher chance to make attacks rebound and take no damage.
Gotcha. Okay.
Someone was asking me, when they die, will they drop parts to be reassembled, or they just poof?
In case you couldn't hear, the question was when golems are destroyed, can you like salvage some of their parts or anything like that?
Right now, when they're gone, they're gone.
They just blow up.
So he just falls apart and he drops what he had in his inventory, and there goes his axe arm.
Fine.
But yeah, one of the things that we try to base around a lot of the things that pull from one of our design pillars is that nothing is forever, essentially. So even when the golem itself dies, we don't want you to just be able to take those parts back and put it back. We want you to have to go back and kind of go through that process of making them again, just because it gets you out on more adventures, right? That's the primary thing. We want you to be exploring out in the world, going out to do the activities that make you feel empowered and give you, that temporary boost in power until you lose something and you have to go back and get it again.
Yes, question from chat.
I was asking, can you use like an illusionist bench to like make it so like, oh, I want to keep the stone appearance, but I want better quality part?
No, we just offer different parts as kind of reskins, essentially. So one thing you'll see, I believe it's in the battle pass, I'll have to double check, but we have a version of the iron golem. Oh, sorry, it's actually in the shop. We have a version of the iron golem that is patinaed, and it has like, it has green and kind of copper patina on it. And it looks like this guy that's right on the screen here, but it's the same items, but with a different skin
appearance. Yeah, I think there is a battle. I believe one of the I want to say the capstone reward for the battle pass is also like a.
We'll check it out and go through the rewards as they're set up now for the battle pass later. But that's the idea, that we make alternate versions of the parts, not using our reskinning system for them.
And for what it's worth, also you can mix and match the various like part quality. So you can put like a crystalline leg on like a stone torso with like an iron head or something like that. And you can actually see here on the stand that we have set up, like we have a couple different special parts to further customize your golems. Some people noted in chat the conspicuous head that this golem on the stand has. Some people referencing Dynamite Heady, which was one of my old favorites. I love that game. So shout outs to those of you who called that out.
Yeah, I mean, golems are a facsimile of humans. They don't have to be one-to-one recreation. So we've got some really cool parts that you can interchange with what would just be a normal head, and one of them is the explosive jar. So
jar for a head.
Another thing that might not be obvious at first is on this one, it not only has a jar for a head, but its torso is hollow, and it's an incense burner. And one of the things you can do with this golem is put different flowers in it, or if you take it a step further, you can put the powder of those flowers in it for a greater effect, to have some kind of passive effect around your character. So different flowers will do things like increase deflection, add a health regeneration around the golem. There's like strength weapon damage increase around it. I can't remember exactly how many effects there are offhand.
There's a bunch. There's like 2 different qualities of various effects, and then there's like
there's 5 or 6 different effects. Yeah, and then a second tier for each of them as
there's
well.
like 5 or 6. Yeah.
They're all lotus driven, and you can take the lotus and grind it and get a more potent version of it. Keeping in check with the lore, essentially, that whenever you use alchemy to kind of grind these things down, they become a more powerful version.
So yeah, when you're out adventuring with your hot box golem, you can go and get some sweet buffs while you're fighting alongside them.
And then another thing here is the automaton stand is another cool thing. I can't remember if I think the stand is in monetization as well. I think it's maybe in the battle pass, but don't quote me on that. But it's essentially kind of just a little station that lets you display the automaton that you've created. You don't fully have to do the ritual. You just put the parts in and you can see.
Yeah, it's just the display stand. Like, yeah, it's completely inert and can't do anything, but it's just there to like show off as like a decoration.
And this is a good way to show too how you can put different pieces in that do different things.
Yeah, like, did you want to give away like everything that you could use, or because people are like, oh, flesh golems, or like, oh, I want swords for arms, and like.
There's a few different types of weapon arms you can put on, a few different types of, I think a couple types of heads, and maybe 1 or 2 types of torsos. Like the one that Dennis just put on with the purple eyes acts as like a light source for dark areas as well. That's its own like special kind of head.
Yeah, I can do this and just have a little skim through all the different parts. So some of these you can't craft, and some of them you can. The crystalline ones, for example, and that's the guy on the far right on the left side of my screen, they'll only come from drops in the world. And the sculptor NPC that's in Mek-Kamoses camp actually has a rotating inventory of parts too. So if you show up at different times, he might have a different piece to sell you. I believe it's at the cost of blood crystals themselves. And in addition to that, we also have coded parts. So the part might not just have a base effect, but something like, there's one here, Crystalline Guardian Tar Head. Whenever you take that item and you check it out, I should put it on the bench actually, just so you can see here. It'll add different qualities. In combat, creates flammable pools of tar. So now if you apply a fire effect to those, you have traveling fire essentially. I think I want to say there's 2 types of coding, but there might be 3. Andy, if you want to look on that page, you might be able to find out the exact number.
Sorry, what are we looking for? I was looking at
coatings.
Types of coatings? Okay, yeah. 1 sec. Let me take a look.
Second Joe says, friendship withdrawals ended. Now golems are my best friend.
Now golems are my best. I also appreciate the comment about Exodia. So it looks like according to this, there's 2 types of coatings and then a couple more that...
Tar and brimstone.
Yeah, that we wanted to do, but...
Okay, yeah.
Haven't been implemented.
Yeah, so we have 2 coatings now, and then we may wind up adding more later. As with like a lot of the stuff you guys have seen come out in Sorcery, we try to make everything to be forward-minded. So when we want to do little touches here and there to spice up different parts of the game that people like, but maybe hasn't had any new content in a while, we can come back and add something cool. And we have ideas for these things in the backlog that we can just reach into anytime and add new systems and new dynamics to the game.
There's a couple people in chat asking if there's an animation when you start a golem. If you want to slam some,
I do want to slam
some of those legs and arms into there and fire one up.
Let's get all the stuff you had on display in there.
Yeah.
So this one has the scythe arm. You always have to have an empty arm in the left, but the right one determines what kind of tool they use. And you can see here when I put the scythe arm in, it can harvest foliage. I put the chest in, that's the incense burner. So it has the lotus burner attribute that lets you burn flowers. And it has the explosive jar head, which means it detonates on death. So we'll now do the ritual. And just like any other ritual, he'll come around to a specific spot.
Taking the long way around.
Yeah, it's a defined point. So he'll do his ritual and then animate the golem.
Live! I give you animate life.
The bench will, lift it up and let it come to life. Then you have your new follower.
There should be like a lightning strike or something.
Yeah. It lives. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Put Andy's voice in the game, please. Thanks, Birdkex.
Okay, so now we've got this guy. If we inspect him, we can see all that same stuff. We can see his health, his armor, how much inventory he has. And now it's obvious that the inventory size matters because that's how much stuff they can carry when they're harvesting. They run out of inventory space. They can't harvest anymore. And his explosive jar head. Let's go ahead and just drop some golden lotus in there to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
And then he should start, burning some flowers here since he is following me. Oh, do I have to actually enable it as well? I can't remember. I think it should just go. I can double check.
Oh, yeah. I haven't actually.
That one.
Sorry, I just looked at your phone.
I don't even know what you saw.
I don't know what I saw. Sorry.
I could try different.
No. Unfortunately, your golem will not take ballroom dancing lessons with you. That sounds like a great mod, though. People like no feet.
Oh, jeez.
Not for sorry.
I'll mark this as part of the work in progress status of this, but in the end, whenever it ships, it will have the effect along with it as well. I think it's burning it, but you can't see it right now.
Okay, gotcha. There's no VFX on.
Are you in creative mode? Because then that'll show up.
I am in creative mode. There's the buff. That's right. Good point.
Oh, duh. Okay, yes. Thank you. So
you can see the passive effect happening there. And then I think we said there's 5 of those and 2 power levels of each one essentially.
So
there we go.
See what flowers do you want?
That should be a little more impressive in the end, I believe. And then with this guy, like it said, he's got the explosive jar head. So whenever he dies, it'll drop the jar. And even though I killed him manually, you can see the jar burning and rolling on the ground, and there's the explosion.
Nice.
So I think that's largely golems. I don't know if there's a lot more to cover on them at the point. It does have a lot of stuff to begin with. This is the super high-powered golem. You can see he has insane health and armor, and he's set up to harvest rocks as it is.
Oh, that is a lot of health. Jeez.
Yeah, but like I said, he can't be healed.
Right. Yeah.
So it is as effective HP can be, but he also has that deflection mechanic on top as well.
People are very excited about those rounded floors, by the way.
I mean, you saw that, did you?
Don't worry. Yeah. We're getting to those.
What about these rounded things? Did anyone see these?
Ooh,
that's interesting. So I guess we're probably ready to move on from golems now, right?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, if there's any other questions in chat, really quick. What's up?
What about the golems inventory when they're full? Like, what do they do?
Oh yeah.
Oh, they behave normally. They'll follow you and perform in combat. They just won't be able to actually carry any more stuff. So I believe that harvesting will be totally blocked at that point. I don't think they'll just leave little bags on the ground for you. But it's definitely one of those two things.
And for the record, I'm taking a lot of questions with the topic that we're talking about, and we'll likely have a Q&A session at the end for other things. I do see y'all's questions.
If anyone didn't hear that, Nicole just said she's taking questions on other things as well, but she's only asking the ones about what we're talking about.
Yeah, about golems specifically. And I'm taking a look at chat as well, so we're keeping track with what we can. And don't worry, we saw plenty of comments about like, oh, what are these rounded foundations? What are these round things? Can we have armor stands? Like these golem stands? Huh? Can we? What say you?
I say yes.
Oh. In the time it took to ask that question, we implemented that.
Yeah.
Kidding.
I just actually I went in and I checked the checkbox that says
The button,
armor,
right,
armor
you press the
stance.
button. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. This job is really easy. So.
Oh yeah, we just press buttons and like things just come to life. It's fine. Yeah. It's the game dev's so easy.
Everybody's very excited. Everybody's like,
Yeah.
finally.
We're still taking care of some stuff on the armor displays as well. Like you'll see this one on the female. There's a bit of an issue with the texture up on the chest there.
Yeah.
Obviously, they have checkerboard
Loincloth
on that won't be there in the end. But we didn't want to not show this because it's so exciting. So, do you have
in the other tent? I have one dressed up already.
So we've got a couple tents set up, and these ones are wearing armor.
So all you have to do is you just dump whatever armor pieces onto your. So I don't have anything of those things.
Sure you do.
There. Oh yes. I have other things you can throw on.
Random things on here, and make a different display. There is a male and female version. Currently, they do not accept dyes or illusions, but because I think we're going to have different versions of the mannequin probably in the future going forward. We want to accommodate that. So I think that you'll see a version in the future that accepts the dyes and illusions as well. We have a plan for it already. We just didn't have time to do it right now.
Or like with different poses or something.
Right. Yep. So, yeah.
So
dismantle it.
An off request feature we know, and so that will be added.
And I believe that this. Should I open the battle pass now?
You can. One sec. And what?
No spoilers.
Okay. And that's I did see someone in the YouTube chat also astutely noticed that was the Age of Conan Necromancer armor.
Yeah. One thing we've been doing just because we think it's cool is getting some of the armors back from AOC. You've seen a lot of them in game already, probably, if you're familiar with the game, like the Assassin, Barbarian armor, Guardian armors in there. So we made that Necromancer set as well. And we'll take a closer look at it in a minute. I mentioned him a lot on the stream, but Vebjorn, one of our artists, put a lot of time into making that Necromancer armor because in AOC, it doesn't have a lot of really high detail, and we have to recreate it to put it in an Exiles. So the 2D detail on it is very high, and it shows a lot of tiny little pieces. And he had to go through and actually give topology and geometry to all of those little tiny pieces. So again, big shout out to Vebjorn.
Oh, and the big no spoilers thing, by the way, is it's just so like when you complete the battle pass, it like gives you like little like lore bits. We don't want to have those bits on stream because we want you to see those for yourselves. So it's going to be covered up.
For the sake of the stream, we have the whole battle pass unlocked, and we just don't want the text to be visible for now.
No, we're not showing your bits, please.
Actually, the most important story points are not text, but they are hidden behind the no spoilers block.
Nice. Great. Excellent.
The mannequin here, I was just going to point out, it is a battle pass reward, and it's a free reward. So anyone can claim this, whether you pay to unlock the battle pass or not. Everyone will be able to play and get the mannequin. And you might think also, oh, what does that mean for, the future, when this battle pass is gone? We will have other versions and iterations of this that are probably available in the shop. We may eventually wind up having the base game version as well, and potentially more battle pass versions as well. So just because it's here once doesn't mean it's going to be the only version of it. But for now, it is free for everybody. You don't even have to,
You don't have to get the battle pass.
Unlock the battle pass.
The armor mannequins. Yeah.
And we can skim through some other stuff while we're here if you want to.
Sure. I mean, we can go over maybe like the first 3 pages. For folks,
I love showing off like all of the backgrounds and everything too, because the work that goes into them is so amazing, and it'll give people something to speculate about what the story is that's happening. If you're fine with that,
I'm fine with that. Yeah, and in fact, maybe some eagle-eyed viewers might notice a reference to previous, illustrations we've had. So,
and you'll also see, giving that disclaimer again, there may be some stuff that's doesn't have final icons or art in the battle pass as we go through it. Just know that as we go forward. So we again have a lot of like sorcery themed items. We always try to strike a balance of how much stuff is specific to the theme of the age versus how much stuff is kind of a breather from people, so you don't get fatigued from just having all sorcery stuff all the time. So there's a neat shield. That's based on that altar that Mek-Kamoses has, where you can see that, you know, the fire above the skull.
Chat's going nuts for the camel.
I know.
Camel?
Yeah.
Hello?
So there's the camel. The camel right now is literally just a pack animal. You can't ride on this version.
Not a
of it.
mount, sadly. Yeah.
But it is a follower you can have follow you around with a good amount of inventory space. But we know everyone's going to want to be able to ride it eventually.
Oh, yeah. The text here is different from what you actually get. What you're actually going to get is the creature that's shown here, not any kind of backflip or anything like that.
Yeah, there are some things that we have to replace, kind of last minute if we can make things work or not. So
Yeah, things got shuffled around.
Maybe a spoiler for the future, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. There's a reskin for like the Golem craft bench, slow clap emote. Oh yeah, we have the previews for these now too, so it's cool to show the actual emotes. We didn't miss any other emotes earlier, right?
I don't think
Might as
so.
well show those. And there's a cool Tyrannian armor set.
Yeah, you notice a lot of the battle pass stuff also, and some of the things that you'll see in the bazaar as well are Tyrannian themed, and we'll go into that a bit too, because I have some folks in chat have pointed out the curved items.
People really want to punch the camel.
You can punch the camel.
Well, maybe we can make that in the future. There's the Necromancer set. You can see it has a lot of tiny pieces.
Yeah,
It's
there's a
very
lot going on there.
We've also been making these chests to kind of let you more easily dictate and decide what goes where. So this one is, for rocks and ore, and it's obvious from a distance.
There was one I saw that had like lumber, or a specialized lumber one as well. Yeah.
Golems are free with the update.
Golems are just golems. So everything we've talked about prior to like battle pass and bazaar stuff is all just like going to be part of the base game. You don't have to like buy anything special or like download some DLC or whatever other than just the update, just part of the update for everyone.
Oh, someone asked if you'll see the rocks in it. I can't remember if we were able to go that far, but it is a thing that we requested to do. We'll have to see when we get closer to release if it gets put in or not. This emote sadly is not animated, or it doesn't have the preview yet, but this is really just standing there waving the fan at someone. There's a golem pet as well.
What the dog doing?
Tyrannian horse. The blood crystal weapons are really cool.
Yeah, we have a couple of them equipped on the character as well.
Yeah, I'll show them in a moment.
Yeah.
But they have that blood crystal from the golems in the ground worked into them. There's a Tyrannian sword there.
Really fancy. Yeah, this is the armor set that we're wearing on our character right now. Yep. And there's also going to be there'll be other like costume sets that are themed around Golemancy as well. No, so Gothmar, there's multiple types of specialized containers. We saw the rocks and ore one. There's also one for lumber. I think there's a couple other ones. I'd have to check off the top of my head, but yeah, there's not just one.
Oh, we didn't unlock the whole thing.
Oh, I didn't unlock the whole thing. Dang, not bad.
It's mostly unlocked. The Warcry emote, that one's really awesome. Your character screams really, really loud whenever you do it.
I need to bug someone for need more points.
And then here at the end we have another version of the stone golem. That's one you'll be able to craft. Cool. So there's a sneak peek at the battle pass itself. And here's also like the sword. Just kind of go in vanity mode. You can see the material worked into it. This monitor is a bit washed out.
It is, but I think it should display okay on the stream.
Yeah, for sure. So they've got that cool vibrant red rock component to them. And
Does it glow?
It does not glow. It's a little bit too high fantasy for it to have a passive glow. So we kind of gave it this sort of almost like subsurface reflection kind of look to make it look like there's a little bit of depth to it. And oops, I put the wrong boots on.
How dare you?
What am I missing? I'm missing one, the gloves. And then there's that set, that Necromancer set, with all of its tiny pieces.
God, man, that's a lot of stuff.
Yep.
Jeez.
I wasn't kidding.
I didn't realize,
crazy.
those gauntlets are just like, oh my God. Can you dye this?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it should have good die support as well. You know, the artist I mentioned before is very committed to making dies work well on these pieces. So that's that.
Excellent. Each tooth is made of tinier teeth.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
The armor stands can't be posed, right?
No.
Yeah, they're just that static
Yeah.
pose.
Yeah.
No, golems are free.
Yeah,
BattlePass.
one of the challenges I think we have also with those armor stands also is like different poses can like kind of warp the armor in different ways. So it's kind of a challenge to get like the right kind of like pose that sometimes doesn't. We ran into some issues with like we had like one thing that was like had its arms crossed or something like that. That was causing a bunch of like weird geometry issues like with the shoulders and such. So
Yeah, we picked one that was pretty neutral and would show the armor primarily as a starting point. We have a prototype that has a lot of different options for the armor stand, so we know we can get more complex with it and offer more options. For the moment, though, this is what will come out whenever we ship. What next?
What next? I mean, that covers most of. I think that covers all the major steps that we wanted to talk about with the update. Let's see. We talked about the new journey system. We talked about the blood crystals and Mek-Kamoses' new crib. We hinted a little bit at what he's up to. The all new golem system. A couple of new placeables and new Turanian building piece expansions, including curved pieces. Actually, wait. Let me show you.
Yeah, people are asking about the building pieces.
Yeah. Let me show off some footage from one of our folks over in Oslo. He actually went and built a big thing, and this gives you a better idea of like just what's possible.
I love how good that Turanian stuff. I'm sorry to interrupt. It looks so good. The horse and the armor set is so awesome.
So yeah, this is just going to be like just a short view of just like what's possible with like the new building sets that we'll be adding that are Turanian themed. And then I guess like one of the last burning questions is like, when can our players get their hands on this? Can we answer that?
I don't know. Can we? You tell me.
I actually don't know.
Looks like it's time to go to Slack.
Yep, time to ask. 1 second. I'm just gonna let this play.
I'm really, really bad about keeping up with timelines because I'm just trying to shove as much cool stuff in with the time that we have. I need to get better about it.
Nicole, are you messaging anyone, or shall I?
I can.
Okay, I'm just gonna message.
Okay.
While we're inquiring, let's go to chat really quick. Oh, okay. One of the looks like one of the microphones cut. Sorry.
Womp womp.
I see. Yeah, this one ended up dying. That's why.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dang it. Sorry.
I was just talking with someone being like, something's up with the audio.
Yeah. This mic just died.
The battery's dead.
The
Yeah.
biggest
Do you want to steal mine?
question
Yeah, we can.
is also like, when can we expect this to come out?
Yeah, that's what we're working.
Oh,
No, we're just gonna share this one thing. That's what we're working on figuring out.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're looking into confirming right now.
Your beard is too powerful.
My beard is too powerful. Yeah, it's just like sucking all the energy, all the battery power. That's the source of my power, is that I suck out.
It's a ghost beard.
Yep. Yeah, I absorb all
It's
the.
like Rapunzel with mom, like she grabs the magic from her hair or something.
Yes.
Something like that.
I just absorb all the electrical power from various things around me into myself through my beard, and that's why everything just kind of breaks around me. I always blame Mercury retrograde, but then it's just me having a chaotic aura. So.
I try.
While we're waiting on an answer, let's take a look. Wow, lots of stuff in chat. I believe the new Turanian pieces are going to be in the Bazaar, I believe.
I think they're spread out. The battle pass has the armor set, I think is.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking about the building pieces. I think there's like I know that there's the scaffolding set and all that that comes with the Oh, it's right there.
If you want to change.
Oh, yeah, sure.
we could
Yeah.
show that one.
In regards to the armor mannequin, there's not like a swap button, is there? So like whatever you're wearing, swap with the mannequin, or
No, I think that there is a button to take everything off of it,
okay.
but there's not just a immediate transfer. We can double check.
New felines. Oh, we
Yeah.
showed up a couple.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's just like that's the test environment, Bazaar, so everything rotates like super duper fast.
Yeah. This is another case where you might see stuff that's not not done and incomplete, but there's a whole set of different sorcerer themed outfits.
Yeah, different mounts, weapons, and an emote themed around different
Two
different
emotes.
thaumaturgic elements.
Yeah. That one gets a bit cut off.
Oh, yeah. That's good to see.
This one's really cool. It has kind of different like praying or ritual oriented emotes. I love that one.
Love that Tsar armor. Thank you. So let me see if... Okay.
Ooh, the pits.
And so we can at least say public beta for Chapter 3 is planned to go live this Thursday, the 23rd of February. For those who are haven't been following along for years, we used to call it Test Live, and now we just call it the public beta because Test Live just never really made sense, and that was an old legacy naming scheme that we've had for a decade.
There was some confusion because we used Test Live for also the name of a branch internally.
Oh, of course.
So we cleared that up.
So Chapter 3 will be Chapter 3 will be available for testing this Thursday. And the Chapter 3 official release date, is currently planned as March 14th.
Oops, that's the joke emote.
Mark your calendars, friends. Chapter 3 will be the final chapter. It will be the ultimate chapter of the Age of Sorcery, and then we will then shift into a new age, a different age.
Yep.
Period. Full stop.
That's it. Yeah, it is really cool to see. I think that, we talked about it a bit earlier in the show, but it's kind of cool to see the Age of Sorcery come to an end because the ending is pretty intense. And that's why we're not showing all the content because, it's going to be an experience to have.
Mm-hmm. All right, friends. Yes, and marketing ads 2023. Don't worry. Thank you, friends. Well, I think that kind of covers it as far as...
show that emote. I was gonna say I could just show the fanny emote.
Oh, but it's not textured. So
Yeah,
this is all still still in development, but
yeah.
it's fine. It's fine. No big deal. So I think that covers it as far as things we wanted to talk about for Chapter 3. We're running over just a little bit over an hour, so we do actually have to get going pretty soon. We may be able to take maybe a couple questions if we haven't answered them, but otherwise, we'll look forward to seeing you on the test server and hearing all your feedback.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's probably worth saying, but there will be more stuff in the update than we went over today as well. We just hit the big points.
Yep. Yeah. This is just a preview stream. Everything else, you will be able to actually play with your own hands this Thursday. So any of your burning questions, just wait till later this week and you'll be able to answer it yourself.
We're getting pooping mechanics?
No, we're not. No pooping. Sorry.
Not yet.
Age of Spinosaurus. That's spoilers. That's the next age
Everybody
confirmed.
gets one dinosaur onesie.
Yes. Every mob is replaced with Nicole in a dinosaur onesie.
Character transfers are still disabled. We're looking to approve the feature still.
Yes. Yeah. Character transfers are still disabled. Still working out issues with it. We don't have a ETA on that, unfortunately. But as soon as we know more, we'll let you know.
And with this patch, there's going to be a lot of bug fixes. It's not just the addition
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
these new things.
You're sorry, since you
Yeah,
done
yeah,
it. Yeah,
sorry.
my bad.
Someone actually just said climbing fixed when. I think it's this update that's going to have a. I don't want to say it's a fix. It's definitely an improvement to climbing. So when your character gets to the top, they don't just fall off back to the bottom.
Oh, that's good.
I think it's this update.
Okay.
If it's not this one, it's Age 2 Chapter 1. But I think
We'll
it's
find
here.
out soon
I
enough.
think it's here. Update the engine, never gonna happen.
We've been over this. So I think it's like every stream we've had to
Yeah,
talk
it's
about.
kind of just a meme. It's just a meme at this point. But Exiles is not a simple Unreal Engine version. Like you can't just right click it and say I have a change engine version. We have a lot of custom code in the engine code itself, which makes it impossible to just change the version.
Well, okay. I think that is a good point to stop for today. We look forward to hearing about all your questions or feedback about today's stream on social media or on the forums. And of course, again, Chapter 3 will be available on the public test server this Thursday, the 23rd. Big shout outs to our support staff for helping out with chat today. Big shout outs to Nicole for hanging out with us, as well as marketing and producer folks helping answer questions live on Slack. And thanks to you, of course, for tuning in. I think that's about it for me. Thanks for helping, Nicole. Appreciate it.
Hi, bye.
Thanks, y'all. I think that's about it.
Yep.
We shall see you the next time and look forward to seeing you in game.
Bye.
Bye. As I awkwardly change scenes. Wait, let me. Anyway. Bye.